So we have spoken extensively about DEI on this YouTube channel. I have given you my thoughts and my feelings surrounding it. I've spoken to you guys in the comment section multiple times. I've had discussions with people on Twitter about it, whether those are big YouTube creators or just everyday people that want to chime in. I've had discussions around it, and I've acknowledged that the DEI stuff is going on. I don't think that's really something that is up for discussion. Obviously, people see it in different lights, but I have not really taken the time to talk about the other side of the conversation, and that is the people that stand against it. Now, there are multiple YouTubers and multiple people in this space that are honestly trying to get to the bottom of what is going on and just want to play good games, but there are plenty of people who have stupid ideas and have stupid things that they want to say, and they latch onto certain things so they can spout their bullshit. Now, I've told people multiple times, maybe some YouTubers that are watching this that have spoken to me privately, I have told them that I don't bat for a team, and if it might seem like I am on your side because I've covered something extensively, then you are wrong. I am very happy to sit on a fence or sit on my own in a conversation if I feel like people are just talking a whole bunch of shit, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. Now, it's going to be surrounding a studio called Surgent Studios. They made a game called Tales of Kenzara. It's going to be surrounding an individual called Abubakar Salim, who is, I believe, in some sort of position of authority over there. It's going to be surrounding a podcast that took place on a YouTube channel called Hypnotic, which I have a lot of things to say regarding that. And one guy in particular, some fucking land whale that was sitting on that podcast making racist comments, and the people on that podcast that did not call him out. So I'm going to get to all of that. We're going to go through it point by point. If you are offended by what I'm about to say, then you can leave a comment or you can message me directly, and I'll probably just say it to you again. Now, like I said, there has been an aggressive push with this whole DEI stuff in our video games, and gamers have responded accordingly, myself included. There are plenty of games where if I see the Sweet Baby Inc. name attached to them, I would just say, I'm not touching that. Now, that doesn't go for every single narrative studio. I actually try to take the time to look into each one and see what they're all about, and then I'll make my decision based on that. But Sweet Baby Inc. themselves, there's absolutely nothing that I want to hear from that company. If I know that their name is attached to a game, I simply won't buy it. I won't even give it the time of day. I believe they've done too much damage, and they've tried to do a disservice to gamers for far too long for me to be like, let's give them a second chance. For me, that ship has sailed, that bridge is broken. So if you are a game developer and I find out, or many other gamers find out, that Sweet Baby Inc. is tied to your game, we're just not even going to acknowledge it. That's where I stand. You can think it's stupid. I really don't care. It's my wallet. That's how I've decided to vote with it. And that's where Surgent Studios comes into it. Now, there's an individual called Abubakar Salim who worked on a game called Tales of Kenzara. And his speech at, I believe, the Game Awards, I can't remember exactly what award show it was, I believe it was the Game Awards, it came across as very manipulative to people. Abubakar Salim is an actor. You might have seen him on Game of Thrones. I think it's House of Dragon that he's on. He's a good actor. He's very good at convincing you. You know, actors can be very manipulative. That being said, I don't have a problem with somebody referencing their father who passed away and saying they dedicated the game to them. Now, Abubakar Salim is like I say, is a good actor. I was already aware that he was an actor. So any manipulation tactics that might be on display there is not going to work on someone like me, but I fully acknowledge bringing that up because people that don't know he's an actor could see that and be like, oh, I feel really bad for him. And, you know, maybe he is telling the truth. I thought about it, and I was watching the situation unfold, and I thought to myself, well, if my parents passed away and I wanted to dedicate a game to them, I might go on stage and I might get a little choked up as well. That could happen. That's a possibility. So for me, when I saw it, I was like, I'm not going to attack the guy over that. He might be lying. He might be grifting for people to buy his game. I don't know. Now, the game itself, no shade on Abubakar. It's not something that I would play. I've not played it myself. I'm not going to play it. I saw it and I was like, it's just not something I would play. But that's not really a slight at the game. I don't like side scrollers very much. Outside of Streets of Rage, maybe, I'm not really going to be caught playing a side scroller. I might play Double Dragon, but that's really it. Now, the game did not do very well. Despite Abubakar Salim saying multiple times that it was doing very well, it just didn't. And the studio is now laying people off. They put out a tweet on Twitter basically saying that they're looking for funding and they want to move on to their next project. Really, I would suggest going down crowdfunding to see what kind of games people want, and not looking for some, as they say, angel donation to push your game forward. You should really see what people want to play, and then maybe you'll have some money in your pocket and you won't have to lay people off. Now, the tweet read, "We've decided to put the work of the surging games division on hiatus while we secure funding for our next project. In the meantime, we've unfortunately had to put our team on notice for redundancy. Everyone at Surgeon worked incredibly hard to create Tales of Kenzieria, a game that truly comes from the heart. Their passion, creativity, and dedication are nothing short of extraordinary. There are still a couple of exciting updates coming down the pipeline for Zal, but for now we have a message. Our team has created a prototype for a bold new project. It's darker, edgier, and more visceral than our first game, but it retains all Zal's high-octane combat and cultural depth, and we're looking for a partner. Help us bring our vision to life." And then it's got their details there. Now, again, I would say go to crowdfunding. If the game is as good as you're making it sound, people will probably invest in it. That being said, and I have to say again to Abubakar Salim, if he ever does see this, if people find out that you are Sweet Baby affiliated, they're not going to buy the game. It doesn't matter how much work goes into it. That particular narrative agency has burnt every bridge imaginable. The people that were always going to buy your game, all of 5 of them, and I don't mean that as a slight, it's just that everybody is against Sweet Baby Inc. You find it very hard to find people that are actually like, I don't mind them. And I mean that honestly. Like, even people that I speak to that disagree with the people that I'm about to bring up, they won't buy Sweet Baby games. They think that they're an infection in the industry. It is what it is. Now, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just some lowly YouTuber, right? But at the end of the day, I'm a consumer. And I'm telling you that if I hear that that studio is tied to your game, or if that narrative agency is tied to your game, I'm not even going to give it the time of day. I'm just saying.
We're in a time at the moment where, and I don't know whether it's because of the amount of information that we're receiving, that we just have to almost make these kind of very quick split decisions of being like, all right, cool. You know what? If it's in there, I trust that person's voice. I'm just going to go with that. I'm just going to go with the flow and believe that, which is a shame, because you end up missing quite a lot of stuff, be it either experiences or either in a game or even just in real life, man. Like it's one of those ones where, yeah, it was a storm, bro. Like when the game came out and all this stuff with Sweet Baby and whether it's woke and all this sort of stuff started coming out, it was like it was just wild, man. Like, and I think I've been like really reflecting upon it even myself just now, and I've said this before, like the game and how it's actually performed, not only just on like, and I'm not just saying just Steam, but like on other consoles, on PS and all this sort of stuff. Like it's done pretty well. Like for an indie game, for a first game coming out like off the bat, like it's done pretty well. And I'm in the driving seat. I can see whether we're doing good or not, right? But then you have a story outside that's telling you different, and it's like, oh man, is that right? Is that wrong? And it was very weird, man. Like it was such a weird experience. It wasn't just as pure as just releasing a game and it being kind of judged on the material of what's in it.
Right.
It was being judged simply on face value, which feels like, wait, what?
Again, I don't think this game failed because there are too many racists out there or anything like that. I think it failed because it's just not what people are looking for right now. It didn't look like a bad game. It just didn't look like something that I would play. And leaning on race is not going to do you any favors. That's just my advice to Abubakar Salim as somebody that is a consumer. Now that we've got that out of the way, now that you guys, maybe if you're new here, you understand that I'm very much against this whole DEI push that they are putting into these games, and that I'm not really a massive fan of the games that I've seen coming out in the West. I now need to get on to some of the fucking stupid talking points that occurred on Hypnotic's channel. I was under the impression that when videos like this were being made on a gaming channel, because this is a gaming channel, right? We're not talking about other issues, even though there's more serious issues in the world. This channel is dedicated to gaming. I was under the impression that when we're putting out videos saying that we're against DEI, that we are going after the creative process and we're going after the ideas, and we're not really making racist jabs at people or sexist jabs or whatever personal attack you might want to make at the person. It wasn't supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about the game and getting the best game out there for people, right? So gamers could have their voices heard and gamers could get the games that they wanted, so they weren't being fed this schlop that they're not interested in. And come to my surprise, well, I shouldn't really be surprised because I know that people like this exist. I go onto Hypnotic's channel and I see a whole myriad of YouTubers on there. Grums was on there, Smash JT was on there. Smash JT is somebody that I've interacted with before. He's been very kind to the channel, he's left me nice comments. I don't have a problem with Smash JT. And in the clip that I'm about to react to, he's not the issue here. Although I would say, given the absolute tomfoolery coming out of some of these people's mouths, maybe someone should have called them on their bullshit. I know for damn sure if I was sitting on that podcast, there's no way one of the imbeciles that is sitting on there would have gotten away with the things that he was saying. So we're going to watch that clip now, and then I'm going to look at some other tweets. And it's going to be a fairly long video, but I feel like you guys really need to see this because, like I said before, there are two sides to the conversation, and whilst we might be against DEI, make absolutely no mistake, there are racists, there are misogynists, there's sexists, even some women that latch onto these things to push their own nasty ideas of the world or to make remarks about people when it's completely unnecessary. See, Abu Bakr Salim, I don't know the guy, right? I've seen him on TV. I saw that he was making this game. I don't have a personal beef with the guy, just like I don't have a personal beef with like black girl gamers or any of those kinds of groups. I just don't like their ideas. And the hope here is to sit down and have a conversation with these people so that, you know, at some point there can be a middle road where we can all get along. The goal here is to really get along. It shouldn't be that we want to actually farm this drama for views and whatever. The goal here should actually be so that gamers get games in their hands that they actually want to play and people are not always butting heads. But clearly, from the behavior demonstrated and what you're about to see, that doesn't seem to be the case. And I actually do have to call Smash JT out on something that I saw, but we're going to get to that towards the end of the video. For now, we're going to watch this clip. Now, like I said, we're going to watch this video. I want you guys to pay attention to the chat and some of the dumb shit that's being said on that chat. Even though my head is blocking some of it, you'll be able to see it for the most part. We're going to go over this, and you guys obviously, you know, feel free to pause the video and give your thoughts as you're going along.
We got this legendary story. Let's talk about Tales of Kinzarazao, the developer. What are they called again? Surgeon Studios, I believe. Surgeon Studios.
This is the guy who came out and made several videos, right? Where he was having a go at gamers. Then he was saying that it didn't matter. Then he was crying.
Should have been Spear Chucker Studios. It would have made more sense.
I'm gonna give you the full cut.
Yeah, that Spear Chugger Studios. Now, for those of you that don't know, Spear Chugger is a derogatory term levied at Africans. Why? Just what did that even contribute to the conversation? And if you look up here, this guy up here looked up. Right? Will of the fans, right? He looked up because he knew this guy was spouting some bullshit. Now, why did nobody turn around to him and say, hey, what the fuck? We're supposed to be having a discussion about this man's ideas, not about his heritage, not the fact that he is of African heritage. We're supposed to be challenging his ideas, and Spear Chuggers, what this imbecile comes out of, this troll, this background character in Lord of the Rings, that's what he comes out with, and nobody checks him on it.
This happened right after his game launched.
I didn't want to address this, but we're here now. But since the beginning of my career, there's always been someone who's made me feel like I didn't deserve the opportunity I got. From Assassin's Creed to Raised by Wolves. Now, I've had to ignore people saying that it wasn't the work that got me the opportunities. No, it was simply because I'm Black. And look, I've turned the other cheek and just kept doing my thing.
It probably is, though.
Saying, oh, the only reason why he's been cast as father in Raised by Wolves.
I mean, to be honest, it's a hell of a way to start a video where you're about to speak out against, you know, certain claims, but whatever, anyway.
Because the character's a service model. Some of these comments, you know, a few of them you can just brush off. But when it's a constant barrage of them, it's exhausting.
This is so anti-masculine. You're supposed to shut the fuck up and take it on the chin, you little bitch. Why are you making a whole video about it?
You're supposed to be.
Can you imagine?
You're supposed to be a strong Black man. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Admit your failure and move on. I'm telling you, effeminate Black men are the worst, folks. and
There
not
really is no like
Mm.
demographic for that, is there? There's no one who's interested in that.
It's the most
Honestly, effeminate men
corrupted
in general.
form of
Yeah.
Why effeminate black men? I'm very confused. Why specifically effeminate black men? Who the fuck is this guy? Who is this troll that you've got in the corner down there? Do you guys not vet who comes on your podcast? I am baffled at how you've got this fucking troll down there, literally an actual troll you'd find under a bridge. How you guys have him on your podcast. Imagine somebody that looks and sounds like him sitting there making comments about somebody else like that. This is supposed to be about the game. You guys have lost the plot. It's only going to get worse from here on out, I must warn you.
That's my biggest issue with this dude, is that he is also an actor. Like, he's an actor, he's a game dev, trying to do all these things. You gotta, if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna do a job, you gotta commit to that one job. When I first started doing YouTube and whatnot, I was really big into playing Magic the Gathering competitively. And I had to look, I have to pick one. Either YouTube comes first or competitive MTG, because you don't have the time to put 100% into both. You're gonna have to fucking pick one.
That is besides the point. Again, we're supposed to be talking about the game and the ideas in this game. Don't worry about how the man spends his time. And people can do multiple things at once. These are such dumb talking points. It has nothing to do with what is at hand here. What the problem here, again, is this whole push of DEI and identifying where it is and potentially people that are funding it, and trying to understand why this is happening and alerting gamers to not buy specific games that have specific companies tied to them. But if this guy wants to act on House of Dragon and then go home and work on a game, that ain't none of your business. Now, he can release a game that's shit and is not well received. And, he released one. I don't know if it was shit, but it wasn't well received. And that's it. But I don't think you should be sitting there giving him life advice. It's none of your business, really.
But at the end of the day, man, the whole being black thing, doesn't really have an excuse here, because you can't. Why is that even a thing? This is your company. You own this company, so you being black don't got a fucking thing to do with it, right? Nobody's gonna say you didn't earn your company because you got this. It's your company. Yeah. So
I thought Sidney Portier was dead. So
anyway, let's continue.
And by the go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, like, if you begin in the opening seconds of your video by trying to denounce the idea that your being black has anything to do with it, it only makes it look more like it has everything to do with it. That's
right.
That's all I was going to say.
No, that's what I did earlier.
Like that.
Sing us the song, you're the colored man.
These guys don't want to be perceived as racist, and yet they're doing things like that. What a bunch of fucking dumbasses. Like, you want people to take this conversation seriously, right? Like I said, there's bigger problems in the world, right? There's a war going on right now in certain places. I get, but on gaming channels, we're trying to discuss what is going on behind the scenes. And you've got dumbasses like, who the fuck is this guy with the shit in his mouth? Who is he? I know who Hypnotic is. I know who Grums is. I know who Smash JT is. Why have you got these fucking randoms on here? They have nothing of worth to contribute to the conversation other than to sit on a YouTuber's channel who has almost 70k subscribers to get some clout. Nothing of worth is being said here, other than making insults at him. This is what I don't understand. Children. Fucking children, a lot of them.
What is untargeted harassment? What's non-targeted harassment?
A shotgun,
walking down the street yelling into the sky or something.
My thing is, where are your supporters, right? So if you are so, it's amazing. These people are always talking about the people who don't like their game, but they're never talking about the people who don't play their game.
That is a fair point. To that point, if there was enough people that wanted to play this game, it wouldn't matter what everybody else said, and it would have done well. I've always said that. Like I said earlier, people will vote with their wallet, so that is a fair point to make. I believe that's Hypnotic speaking. He doesn't have his camera on, so I don't know exactly. I don't think it's Grums, but whoever it is, that's a fair point to make. They should really be focusing more on the people that want to play the game. The issue is that nobody really bought it. When I checked the Steam numbers, they were shockingly low, and I get it's a single-player game, so after you've played it once, no one's really going to pick it up again. But even then, at its peak, it was at like, 200-300 players? Now, I don't know how much it cost to develop this game, so I don't know if 200 players would make them their money back. I don't imagine so, given the fact that they're having to lay people off now. I can only imagine when a game is a success, you hire more people, you keep the people on that you want, so you can make an educated guess and say the game was a massive flop. I don't think it's cool to lean on the whole, oh, the game's not being bought because people are racist and don't like black people. That's obviously nonsense. But again, like I said, if anyone is confused at the road that I'm going down this video, is to say that don't bat for one team. There's stupid talking points on both sides. The focus of this video is going to be on these trolls that are on the left-hand side of the screen. But acknowledging Hypnotic's point, that is a fair point to make.
You're so focused on us who don't like your game for XYZ reason. Why are you not asking the question about where's the people who, for all intents and purposes, if you guys are the majority, should like games like this? Where are they? Where are the people?
He does.
Yeah, where's hashtag there's more of us? Yeah.
No, he
Well,
does sort of talk about it.
You hit it right on the head.
On sale, and it's because, well, black people can't afford the expensive games, so we're gonna drop the price.
His game wasn't even expensive. That's the thing.
I don't think these guys understand optics. They don't want to be perceived as racist, and yet all of their talking points and their jokes, at least to me, somebody that is not sensitive to this kind of stuff, but I'm not stupid either, this would be perceived as racist. I don't understand how they wouldn't be able to see that. This is, again, we use this term a lot about muddying the waters, especially this fat troll at the bottom of the screen who is just laughing at every opportunity. That wasn't even a funny joke, right? Even if something was supposed to land there, it wasn't funny objectively. And of course he would start laughing. I personally, if it wasn't for YouTube demonetization, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy came out saying some crazy shit. You guys will see as the video goes on.
I hate to go back to this, but like the acolyte and everything, it was always about the people who wanted to cancel the show. Everything that they ever said about it was they wanted the show to continue for political reasons. It wasn't that the show was good. It wasn't ever that, I wanted to see this storyline continue. It was always that you people wanted this canceled because you're bigots.
Again, that is a fair point. If people wanted to see Star Wars given the size of its fan base, and it's ridiculous to make the assertion that most of the Star Wars fan base are bigots, they would have seen the Acolyte, wouldn't have been cancelled. That's a fair point. Star Wars Acolyte was cancelled because nobody wanted that, and when it did get released, nobody liked it.
He's an actor who doesn't know how to act, and I dare say, folks, because the Acolyte was brought up, so I will mention it briefly. This show is far more entertaining than the Acolyte ever will be, and I think that's a great example of how content creators, content creation, and live streaming is a form of entertainment that people enjoy and is one way we, the people, are being the change that we want to see. Now on to this brownie darky speaking his mind.
What did he just say? This brownie darky. Hold on a minute.
That people enjoy and is one way we, the people, are being the change that we want to see. Now on to this brownie darky speaking his mind.
Are you guys all deaf or something? You don't want to be perceived as racist. I know you guys heard that. This brownie, this darky. Who the fuck is this guy? What is his name? This is him.
But in all seriousness...
of course he's talking to a fucking avatar. This guy, Ryan Roger Athe, is an absolute retard, okay? You heard what he just said. Brownie darky. How did nobody check him on that bullshit? You want people to not see you as racist, okay? And then you have this idiot on your podcast spouting this bullshit. I think you guys are mistaken. Yes, we might not like the DEI stuff. That does not mean that black people are just going to sit there, or people of color are going to sit there whilst you make disparaging remarks about them, like Spear Chugger and Brownie or Darky. Who the fuck are you, bruv? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to like that? I know you wouldn't say it to that man's face. That's a big dude. You ain't gonna call him Spear Chugger to his face. You ain't gonna call him Brownie or Darky to his face. I highly doubt you do it to any black person. You sit in your basement and you'll say it. In the comfort of your basement. I guarantee you won't say it to someone's face. You should not be talking like that on the internet. That's crazy.
So you say it's not made for them, but then you complain that they didn't buy it. It's the strangest thing. They never want to speak about the elephant in the room, which is, hey, actually, the reason why the game failed is because, quite frankly, we didn't really market it to anybody who wanted to buy it, to be honest.
That's true. They don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, but you guys also don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, and he's sitting right down there. How are people supposed to take you seriously when you have somebody making open racist remarks and you're just brushing over it? Over this basement dweller, this neckbeard just sitting down there, spouting bullshit. You gotta be consistent. There's a lot of people that are on the opposite side of this conversation that are for the DEI stuff. And when I say a lot, I mean, obviously, comparatively, just going by sales, not as many as people are against it. But there's a fair amount of people that perceive every single one of you on there as racist. And after watching this video, it's kind of hard to disparage them from thinking that or alter their mindset. What, no one got a backbone there to tell him to shut his mouth or just kick him off?
It's wokeness done right. If every woke project was like Baldur's Gate 3, our mission to make pop culture great again would be a heck of a lot different. I know not everyone on this panel is a content creator. That's what I call people like us. I know Grums is technically I'd classify him as a games developer and a social media personality. But I know for a fact that this brown Atreyan looking motherfucker, if he started his creator journey, he wouldn't gain.
You see how Will of the Fans put his head down? Bro, say something to him. What, are you scared of this fucking troll? Why did he have to... For what reason did you say that? Would you talk to somebody like that if he was sitting next to you? Is that how you refer to him? I don't think you would. In the comfort of your stinking basement. You want people to take you seriously. I'm actually flabbergasted. You know, this is on a YouTube channel with somebody that has 66,000 subscribers. You'd think that at least Hypnotic would have a backbone and say, hey, we're here discussing ideas. We're here discussing this man's game. Let's keep it to that. Which is what I assumed people were doing. I assumed when we were making videos about DEI and pushing back against all of this stuff, that it's about the game. I mean, sure, some of the people in these spaces, objectively, our personalities are going to clash. Probably won't like them. I've said multiple times, it's literally just about getting the best games out there. All these personal attacks are completely unprovoked as well. This was unprovoked. It's not like we haven't heard this before, right? Somebody leaning on race or whatever. But as somebody that's coming in to counter it, I don't understand why he would even go down this road, other than the fact that he just really wants to get this off his chest, and maybe more. I think it's perfectly fine now if people want to cuss this guy out. I mean, he fired the first shot as far as I'm concerned. And that is why Will of the Fans put his head down like that. I can only imagine the face that Grums is making right now. And all of you are men, and no one said to this guy, shut your mouth. We're trying to have an adult conversation here, at least trying to have one.
See Smash JT, I hope you're doing well.
There you go.
Here's your inspiration.
You should
and
carry
hero.
on with the video.
No,
I want to see what more that
point.
bitch is going to say.
We're gonna finish the video. I have to introduce somebody back screen that has finally joined us. Very late, very terrible, and he's still fired. That's okay.
He already got spoiled.
Nigga. I'm 100% nigga.
Ooh, what's up, guys?
Honestly, like, these are grown men, and they're talking about being inquisitive enough and being switched on enough and not being brainwashed or brain dead. How do you expect to have conversations with people, which I don't actually believe you guys want to have either? I believe you enjoy the fact that you have your opponents there. You enjoy the fact that they're there. It drives traffic to your channels. You don't actually want to have a discussion. I've tried to invite people on multiple times to talk things out. I don't think any of you want to have a discussion, including Smash JT, on his YouTube channel. Like I said, I like Smash JT, but I'm going to reference him a little bit later on in this video, so stick around for that. But I really don't think most of these guys want to have a conversation. I think that they can see the views that are coming in, and although there are points that they make that I completely agree with, and there's a lot of things that Smash JT says that I completely agree with, there's a lot of things I disagree with. And for one, the way this video is just put together, it's not... You're sitting there going, no matter what I say, they're never going to listen. Yeah, no shit when you put out videos like this. Do you not understand how to navigate this space? Or are you literally pandering to one crowd? Because if you're pandering, then well done. You're doing a fantastic job, especially judging by the chat in the corner over there. But if the goal here is to have a conversation to maybe make these people see like, oh, you know, maybe they have a point, you are failing miserably. I mean, introducing Smash JT with that song, how did you think that was going to go? But, you know, I guess you're being rebellious and it's just, I don't think they understand optics. I don't think they understand how this is going to be perceived. I mean, I already went on Twitter and saw how much of an absolute dumpster fire this situation was. But maybe you don't care. Maybe it is just about having opposition so that you can continue to grow your YouTube channels. Like, I make these videos and they do get watched a fair amount. But I can tell you right now, I would rather have these people on and be proven wrong or proven right and have that conversation with them so people can get the games in their hands that they want, or the TV shows that they want to see, or the movies. But I honestly, from what I've gotten from this conversation, I don't believe that to be the case. Again, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Look, I've loved games all my life. I mean, I played them all my life, man, from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my God.
Garry's Mod, Golden Sun.
He's leaning really hard into it, obviously.
And it started with my dad, right? He got me
Wakanda forever.
He understood, you know, that games are an art form. You know, it's a great space to enjoy and escape from the reality of the world. And he passed away a while back. And I'll tell you what, I'm still figuring it out.
You didn't meet him though.
The way his hands moving under that cape looks fucking ridiculous. Sorry.
By the way, if you're like a British like black person, like why? I'm sorry. I have no black person to bounce this off of.
Yeah,
why are you wearing
black?
like your
No
Rafiki or
because he's leaning.
Yeah, you're right. He's wearing
why
this sort of like
the thing? Why are you wearing the cape? The side
like, oh, I got my Kwanzaa costume on.
Sammy,
Are you guys fucking retarded or something? Well, you think Africans don't live in Britain? You don't think we're not connected to our culture? How far up your own asses are you? What, you just think it's Africa and America? My aunties and uncles from Uganda have come over here, and some of them dress like that. It's not Wakanda forever, you dummies. It's not Wakanda everything. I get that that joke sticks with certain things in the media. I've seen the Miles Morales haircut or the Killmonger haircut. I get it. I get why people say Wakanda forever to certain things, but not everything. The man's wearing some traditional African garments and it sort of falls in line with the theme of his game. That's not something to bring up. And the fact that he's British makes no difference. We have Africans over here. I'm half African. What are you guys talking about? What the hell are you on about?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you wearing the Kwanzaa
his
thing?
game is based off of his culture, and he's leaning heavy into it too.
But he doesn't know his culture.
While speaking in an accent.
How the fuck do you know if he knows his culture? This is what I'm talking about. You're talking about things you don't know about. Stick to the game. This has nothing to do with the game. How do you know he's not connected to his culture? This is like a Greek person turning around to me and telling me I'm not connected to my culture because of the way I look. I'm half Greek. You can't tell me if I'm connected to my culture or not. You don't know. You don't know the man. You might not like his game. You might not like the people he's affiliated to. I hear all of that. That's all fine. We're here to talk about games, right? Are you talking about the man's culture and the fact that he's wearing African garments? Do you know how dumb all of you look? Like, honestly.
I
There's more English than mine.
That. I don't know if he knows his culture, but listen.
I'm telling you, he doesn't know his fucking culture.
No. But he brings up his dad, and he's like, okay, you know what? Respectable. Brings up his dad, and his dad passed away.
But 4 years ago, I decided that I needed to try and process my grief
like
in a way that felt true to me and him. So I took the biggest risks of my life, and through everything that I had in making a game, a piece of art that honored him, an ode to the people we have loved and lost.
Wow, that is
this is like fucking Hamlet here. This is the
pure manipulation.
Like,
all right, guys, before I show you this piece of shit that I
well.
made, let me tell you that I'm going to immediately tie it to the death of my father so that you can only think of that while you're watching. You bastard.
I'm sorry. This is a whole bunch of nonsense. You have no idea how the man feels. I understand, yeah, that people that sit heavily against DEI might find it hard to even comprehend why I'm taking such a hard stance against you guys. But, like I said, I'm not batting for somebody's teeth here, and I feel like you guys are talking some fucking bullshit right now. If my parents passed away, and I'm close to my mum, and I made a game surrounding Cyprus or Greece, and I once they're dedicated to it, I might get on stage and get a little bit choked up. Now, he is an actor. I acknowledge that. He could very well be manipulating people. That's a possibility. But we don't know that for sure. This is an assumption. So it's a waste of time. What you can do is you can look at his game and you can say this definitely failed. So there's definitely not a market for it, including black people. Why is that? And focusing on that. Those are the facts. You're making assumptions right now, trying to make light of maybe the man's situation. You don't know how close he was to his father. You have no idea. And that fat sack of shit sitting up there saying, oh, I know for certain he's not connected to his culture. You don't know anything, dude. You don't. What you do know is what I just said. The game failed. There's a reason for that. That is something that can be explored. If there was a way to have open dialogue with the guy, that's something that could be entertained. All of this, faff, what are you in primary school? What are you, 10 years old? What are you guys doing? You look like a bunch of fucking idiots. I have to say. You all look stupid. Your comment about British Africans, his father, you lost the plot.
So
that's the clever thing, by the way, because Gerard
that's
did
like
the same,
feminine energy. That
Gerard did the same damn thing with his mom passing away from frontal temple dementia when he leaned hard into his mom to get people to open their wallets. It's like it's fucked when people start going into their family to sell.
I hate it.
Don't ever
no,
do that.
I wait for that on
That's
every reality show. Like, I'm trying to win the Biggest Loser because my mom had cancer. And I knew it when I grabbed her titty
and you know what's really,
her a scammogram.
You know what's really sad about it?
Look, I understand using somebody's death to sell something. That is 100% a thing. But based on all of the things that they have referenced and based on the things that I've seen from Abu Bakr Salim, whilst I don't have any interest in his game, and if he has Sweet Baby ties, then I probably will never take interest in anything that he produces. No slight on the guy. I've just taken a hard stance against that narrative agency. You can 100% dedicate something to somebody and bring that up, especially if the game is centered around something to do with his father. There is nothing wrong with doing that. You're making assumptions again. You don't know for sure. And so this is a waste of time. You're acting like children. You're all acting like children. I would love to sit on a call with you and call each and every one of you fucking retards for this. Maybe minus Smash JT, because there's parts of this where he looks a little uncomfortable, but I wish you would have said something to these guys. I ain't got no problem, whether I've been cool with you or not, telling you when I feel like you're doing something stupid. If you're not a personal friend of mine and I don't know you in my life, I ain't got no issue coming here and talking to people like the way they deserve to be spoken to. And this is how they deserve to be spoken to for this video. He's talking about feminine energy and there's a group of guys sitting there laughing at this guy. And it's going to look even more feminine, as you like to say, when we get to the end of this video, where I'll show you something else that I wanted to reference.
You know what's really sad about it is it devalues the genuine experiences people do feel when people do shit like that. That's what pisses me off.
I've experienced loss. I've had members of my family die. You know what I
lost
didn't
my
want to
mom.
do is make it a Macy's parade circus fucking blimp and go like my mom died. Like, I hope I lose more weight than this other dude.
Literally, my mom died like 2 years ago. I bring it up like once a year on my channel.
Yeah,
when it comes up with someone else that's had the same thing.
About these things, like,
yeah, but some people do. Just because you guys don't want to talk about it doesn't mean that somebody else won't. You can't tell people how many times they can bring up the passing of a family member. Maybe people don't want to hear it, right? Maybe people will unsubscribe to those channels that do it. But you can't tell people, I do it once, so you do it once. Or I do it 10 times, so you do it 10 times. If the man wants to do it 100 times, that's up to him. Now, people on the internet, especially gamers, they're not stupid, right? Gamers are perpetually online. It's not like people that go to the movies where they might miss some controversy and they don't know what's going on. They'll just go and enjoy a film. Gamers are very tuned in to what is happening online. And that's why we see certain games absolutely crashing, because everybody knows what's going on. So if people feel like, and again, we don't live in an age of stupid people. We don't live in an age where people didn't have access to the internet, where the propaganda was fed to them through a TV, and so that's all they had. Can't even blame those people. That's all they had. We're in the internet age. Gamers know when people are trying to pull wool over their eyes, and they're very, very vocal. So if people got turned off his game because of that, fair enough. But you can't tell the man how many times to talk about his deceased father. Again, you don't know him. You're focusing on things that do not matter.
If I'm trying to win something, you know what? I honestly think, like, thinking about the people that I lost would be a detriment
Guilt
because
tripping.
that would cloud my focus.
Yeah, to you.
I'm really trying to.
You just don't
I
don't try to
felt
sell
up
yourself on
today.
sympathy.
He's
People
trying
don't
exactly.
respect sympathy. You need
I
respect
felt that lump
eventually.
in my mom's titty.
Exactly, Will. What we're
You can grift off sympathy for a short time,
Mm.
but sooner or later you need to replace it with something people will actually
Absolutely.
respect, or you will lose them. Yeah.
well, it
You
just
know,
goes.
you know what we say across the pond is shit or get off the pot. Okay.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. I use that expression all the time. Actually,
Ryan, I'm going to take control. Ryan, you got something to say? Go.
Yes, I do. Well, we have to understand quite a few things in regards to this situation, folks. First of all, this fucker ain't American. Yes, he's officially British, but so shooty, and he's not really. First of all, the environment is different between the UK and the US. You can guilt trip people to oblivion in the UK, and it seems to be working here at these game awards.
What the fuck are you talking about, mate? Have you been to the UK? Guilt trip us. Ain't you guys the problem, the ones with the major DEI problem? Isn't it you guys that have the issues in your schools? Isn't it you guys that are constantly being guilt tripped by people in your governments? It's not the British. We think our politicians are a joke. You can't guilt trip us for shit. You ain't. I don't even know if you've been to England the way you're talking. Where did you hear that? Especially Londoners. Trying to guilt trip a Londoner? You fat chance of doing that. I don't know who told you that. I don't know if you've lived in some part of the UK where that happened. But that's a whole bunch of bullshit. And anybody that's been to the UK knows that. We don't feel guilty about whatever you're going on about. I certainly don't. That is 100% something that is going to be more, that pertains more to America. That is why you guys are the centerpiece of the culture war. Yeah, we get some of it over here, 100%. That's why I'm aware of what is going on, because some of it does exist over here and some of it does exist around Europe. I've seen it when I've gone to other places in Europe. But you guys are the centerpiece of it. That's how they get your actors and your musicians and your games, people in games media and YouTube personalities to kowtow and say sorry. That's coming from you guys. Okay, I'm not putting Americans down. I know a lot of my base is American that watches my videos. But to say that we are the ones that are guilt tripped, but you high or something?
He's got a pre-prepared script in his mind that he's going to go through clearly, concisely, trying to guilt trip people. And we can see through it. I dare say everyone sitting there at those Game Awards can see through it.
And
but it's designed to play the propaganda. Go ahead, Smash. Go ahead.
You just made a really good point. He's saying he's pouring his life into this game. The dude's not a developer.
No,
he's
exactly.
an actor. All he's doing.
This is his side hustle.
All right, you stole my point. You stole my point. Also, one other thing I wanted to get to is on this still alone is look at what he's doing. His tongue is slowly like going over his teeth. Like that's not something that normal people do when they talk.
I'm not gonna hyperanalyze a freeze frame. Come on, man.
No,
what I am gonna
hyperanalyze the shit out of it
is the fact that he's dressed
time.
like every black person I've ever seen go to watch Black Panther Wakanda.
Exactly, yeah. He's wearing his Kwanzaa gear.
Like
yeah.
when Black Panther first came out, when it was super popular and you had to go see it, otherwise you weren't black. He's dressed like every black person that went to go see that movie. I'm not even kidding. They had all.
Now, over here in the UK, I saw Black Panther twice, the original one. I never saw anyone dressed like this, so maybe that's an American thing. I don't know, but that was not even. We even covered a video about a woman in America who was saying that white people are not allowed to go and see it. That wasn't happening over here. We don't have that problem over here.
All this kinds of shit. I couldn't go. I went to that movie and I was like, damn, bro. Like, am I gonna get jumped or something? This is crazy shit, man.
I think he looks like
we are the nation.
About the Jamaican bobsled team.
I want to hear Mark's thoughts on this, with coming from the perspective of someone who is actually a developer, listening to a guy tell people that he poured his heart into a game when he's an actor. How do you feel about that?
Well, just before, I think he's referring to Grums. Again, these are all assumptions. Why are we assuming that you can't do two things? Why are we assuming that people can't do multiple things? I don't understand it. A man can't go and act and maybe also be a musician, do something else on the side. You know, like there's loads of people that do those things. I do it. You know, I can't really talk about what I do in my personal life, but I do YouTube and I do other stuff on the side. Like, you can do multiple things. Now, obviously, his endeavors are much more time consuming and taxing, but I don't understand why this is a talking point. Why are people so focused on his endeavors? If the guy makes a shit game, he makes a shit game. Like, giving him a life advice, I don't really get it. Like, if he's saying he poured his heart into it, maybe he did, right? And maybe the ideas that he poured into this game were stupid. Maybe they were. And the game obviously did not perform well. I don't really get shit on the guy for making a game, like trying to make a game. Maybe he walked down the wrong avenue and he got involved with companies like Sweet Baby Inc. where he shouldn't have. These guys are talking crazy, in my opinion.
Look, I have no idea what his contribution to the game is. I haven't looked at the credits. But let's say he started, right? And there are people who start studios on their brand, right? On their persona, and they can lend like a marketing thing to the enterprise. I mean, a lot of YouTubers have like different companies, you know, that they have and things
Gerard
like
the Completionist, Indie Land. Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he meant that he sunk all his personal funds into it, because it will suck all your personal funds to start a game company. It will demand everything of you and more. Making games is very difficult. So I have no idea. I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, I don't like to. If anyone
actually can clarify a little for you here, he is credited as creative director and a bunch of voice roles. That's it.
But just to stop it there for a second, Grums is one of the first salient points being made here. Like, you can't make too many assumptions. I know that, you know, you're playing to a base and there's a certain number of people that want to hear you say certain things, but you just don't know the guy's personal life. So thank God there's a point that actually makes sense here, because so far it's just been a bunch of bullshit. It's been a bunch of schoolyard bullshit.
If anyone creates, right, I think that is a worthwhile endeavor, and I can't really fault them for wanting to create something. But in this case, he cannot lay the blame on anything but market factors, right? Made a game, it didn't hit the niche, it didn't have an audience. It's not anybody's fault but the game's fault. And to sit there and to blame your complexion for it, or to blame other people's perceptions of it, is disingenuous to the extreme. So I like I said, I give anybody who creates something a lot of props, right? But the way he's approaching it, and the video you showed, and his links to Sweet Baby that go back so far, those can't be ignored. And so look, you made a game, didn't work out. Okay, move on, do the next thing.
Well, you said the video I showed.
All fair points. No issue with any point that he made there. That's completely coherent. Completely agree with him. It's not because of his race that the game failed. That's a fair point. It's not because of chuds. That's a fair point. Otherwise, you're calling the whole industry chuds. The game failed because people didn't like it, and that's it. And then a discussion can be opened up on why they continue to create these games and not do crowdfunding or try to understand what people want. Because I'm sure there's a side scroll out there that people do want. This one didn't resonate with people. That would be the more interesting conversation here. So he could take his expertise and actually apply them to something that people are going to want to play. Because as gamers, right, we want to support an industry that are putting out good games. That's where the conversation should be going. But the rest of them, they're just... Anyway.
We had real racism in this country, in the United States. And we had it so... You know, I remember in college, guys in the back of a pickup truck driving by yelling, "Go back home, chink," right? Maybe it was a parody. I still don't know to this day. You know, or the cat.
What is wrong with this guy? That wasn't funny. This guy... I don't need to say it. We're all thinking the same thing. I don't know how these guys have got him on. I mean, they're not much better themselves. I don't know why Smash JT is sitting there with these guys. Him and Grums could have probably had, and maybe Hypnotic could probably have a conversation on their own that might be interesting to listen to. Like I said, I watch Smash JT's content. I feel like he does make fair points. Otherwise, I wouldn't speak to him if I thought he was an idiot. More than half of this is just a bunch of bullshit. And now this "go back to China" is what made you laugh. I'm not even going to repeat the slur. That's what made you like break down laughing like that, like he made some Dave Chappelle joke.
Casual racism, you know, where my roommate turns to me and
Look at
says,
him.
"Oh, hey, well, welcome to the
What,
U.S.
you
You
throwing
haven't
up
been to the
over
United
there?
States before," and I'm like, "No, it's my first time." And
That's hilarious.
he says, "Where are you from?" And I say, "I'm from Asia." And he's like, "Do you have cars there?" And he meant it genuinely, right?
I mean, that's just the American
Okay, to be
stereotype
fair,
of not
Grumps,
knowing
you grew up
anything
playing
outside
Fighter
these
2, you go
states.
to Chun-Li's home level, and everyone's riding fucking bicycles.
You know what I think it is? I think this guy probably actually is a basement dweller. I know this guy called people that, but I think he probably is a basement dweller. And he's trying to impress his overlords here. I mean, you saw the way he's been sucking off Grums for this entire thing. I don't know if I've included any of that in the clip, but if you guys go and watch this entire video, it's just constantly guzzling Grums at any opportunity that he gets. And so I think maybe he's socially awkward, and that's why he's behaving like that. Because a grown man to break out into laughter over that was it wasn't funny. No one is laughing at that. I'm not offended, but a guy's like he spat his water out. Like this guy just dropped a Martin Lawrence level joke, like Eddie Murphy in the 90s or something. Like,
It became DEI, ESG is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and
that's the greatest. And that is the greatest.
Became marketable.
Exactly. That is the greatest danger, unfortunately, in every cause, is that the cause gets too profitable. Shut up, dog. The cause gets too profitable for it to be about.
Smash, you gonna let this guy talk to your dog like that? Tell this motherfucker, get the fuck off of this panel. Who is this guy, man? Why did you guys put him on here? He's derailed conversation every single time he's opened his mouth. You should have left him in the dark hole that you found him in.
Yeah, we have a rule, Smash. No dogs, no blacks, no Irish. Wakanda forever. But the point I was making...
Yeah, look at Willow fans again. Say something to this dumb prick. Say something to it. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I think that he is socially awkward and he's trying to impress these people that he perceived to be his superiors. That either that or he's just outright letting us know that he's a racist. That's how it's coming across to me right now. I do wonder if Smash JT knew these guys before he came on. I'm sure he knows who Hypnotic is and Grums as well, but this guy, this reality based. I mean, he's saying it out in the open, so at least we know where he stands.
Grums is absolutely right. Hey, the truth is reality based.
I have to stream with this shit 3 times a week.
Why do you stream with him 3 times a week when he says shit like that? You fucking stupid or something.
We gotta finish the video.
I'm trying. Grums is absolutely right. Racism was on the back foot. Now it's returned with a vengeance because an industry could be made off of it. You look at this panel, this is the least racist panel I've ever seen.
Mate, you need to get a mirror. You're an idiot. You are an idiot. You make all of these guys look worse. Their association with you makes them look worse. And this is coming from somebody that, again, is firmly against this whole DEI push. The manufactured way anyway. Because we've always had diverse games. This whole DEI stuff is nonsense. But you are an idiot. And you are the person that people refer to when they're talking about racist on the other side. You are the one they're talking about. This is what they hear. You're either stupid or you're racist, is one of them. But if you're stupid, you don't understand optics. And if you're racist, then you're stupid because you're just saying it outright on YouTube. Either way, like, these guys, I don't even want to say do better, but get better people on, man, to have these conversations.
At least one panelist here
apart from the one really racist guy.
Thank you.
Don't like my movie.
To be fair, on a bell curve, we are all super not racist because Ryan is so racist. The bell curve makes us mega tolerant.
Wakanda forever.
Truth overrides racism, okay? But the point I was making is...
Do you know, at least, I don't even know if they're doing it tongue-in-cheek. This guy is so stupid that I don't even know if I want to continue watching this anymore. I haven't even made it this far. He is painfully stupid. Truth overrides racism. No, dude, just don't be fucking racist. It's that simple. Again, we might agree that DEI and the push of it is a bad thing, but to me, it just sounds like you're latching onto something so you can push your own stupid ideas. That's what it's starting to sound like. And even your own panelists are starting to point out. How many times has Willow fans put his hands over his face every time you've opened your mouth? As a matter of fact, if any of them see this video, I would love for them to come out in defense of this bullshit. Is this guy's first time on here, Hypnotic? Because if it's not, then I have to question you. What the fuck have you got this dumbass doing on here? dragged your entire video into the mud. Have you seen this video on Twitter? They've just taken specific clips and plastered them everywhere. Now, I would encourage people to come and watch this entire thing. It's a painful 3 hours, I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you want the full context and you think that I'm taking anything out of context, please watch the entire thing, because the entire thing is worse.
You know,
I just like that what he's wearing is that what happens when you unfold the pocket square all the way?
No, that's what happens. That's what happens.
So funny. Honestly, only Grums and Smash JT have made any salient points here. The rest of them, just absolute nonsense. Schoolyard bullshit. So funny. I thought these podcasts were supposed to be about calling bad practices out, or calling out bad ideas, and informing the player base, or informing gamers, so that they don't invest in games that are trying to push particular messages. I didn't realize that this was a bitching session. I mean, you talk about effeminate energy. What is this? This is the most bitch-made hour that I've spent.
So
right there too, by the way, fake.
He got more cheers than players.
Look at all
So the reason I'm here tonight is because with the none of those hypocrites bought the game.
My voice is starting to crack. I'm so emotional.
I heard that.
Wait, I gotta rewind.
How black I am.
Why is it lagging?
Everyone, be quiet. Listen to his voice crack when he says this.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
listen to how he finishes it.
So the reason I'm here tonight is because with the love and support of a lot of people here, I'm going to take another big risk, and I'm going to show you what we've been building. No, I'm going to offer you this game. A game from my old man. I hope you like it.
Now, notice how he says, I'm going to offer you a game for my old man. Like, he's literally using his dad's death to try to push this game.
I love that people are cheering for that. Like, whoa, dead fathers, yeah.
You guys are fucking idiots, I swear. You're a bunch of fucking idiots. You don't know. You do not know. Yes, I acknowledge he's an actor. Actors also have parents, and they also have parents that pass away. Now, like I said, everybody's parents will pass at some point, and everybody deals with it differently. If he channeled his grief through a game, again, I'm also making an assumption here, but it's a non-point because none of us really know. We don't know the guy. If I knew this guy, and when he had a history and a pattern of doing this, and I'd say fair enough, I still wouldn't even bother referencing it because the game failed anyway. So really, it's besides the point. The point here should be to talk about the game. But I'd say fair enough. He's a known liar. If I knew him personally, like if he was a friend of mine, I could tell him out, yeah, he's putting it on. I know him. He ain't like that behind closed doors. But you guys don't know. And you're sitting there going, oh, this is disgusting, blah, 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 whilst making jokes and not seeing the irony and all of that. Focus on the topic at hand instead of making shots. Now, the thing is, yeah, with all of you guys, is that I'd be very happy to tell each and every one of you this to your faces. I don't think you would be comfortable talking to this man to his face like that. I really don't think you would. So that makes you keyboard warriors. You're protected by a monitor because he can't get to you, because he's over here in the UK. I guarantee you, if you met the man, you wouldn't speak to him like that. If you're not going to speak to the man in person like that, with that level of disrespect over his deceased father, you probably shouldn't be doing it behind a monitor because you look like a bitch.
There's like things you can absolutely rely on everybody being like able to relate to: losing loved ones. Everyone experiences that. It's a total grift.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sammy, come back to us, man.
Like I said, he got more cheers than he got players, and that's the whole point of this, right? Like he is performative.
That's a great analogy.
And they are performative, right? So this is the amazing thing about people.
When I saw that, hold on, real quick. When I first saw that live, because I watched that Game Awards, I was like I just said, I took him at face value, and I was like, oh my god, like. And now looking in hindsight, knowing he's an actor and knowing he blames it on skin color and all this stuff, I'm like, this dude, I can't trust him as far as I could throw him, and he's a big.
You know what, Smash dude, come on, you're an intelligent guy. I separate you from the rest of these guys other than Grumps. You should be able to understand that it's possible for both things to be true. I can understand you being a bit standoffish and being like, he's an actor, I don't really know, he's also involved with these people and his game's not doing well. I get how the pieces add up, but because you don't know, making the assumption and coming on this panel full of these idiots is not a good look, dude. It doesn't look good for you. Now, I know Actually, I don't know because I don't know you personally, but from the interactions I've had with you and the things that I see you posting, you don't come across like this reality-based idiot, for example. I wouldn't put you in the same bracket, or this Sammy guy. But these are assumptions that really it doesn't matter because the game failed anyway. The game has already failed. It's not even like you're alerting people and the game is still coming out. The game's already fallen flat on its face. So all we're doing here is poking at the guy when you don't actually know what his emotional temperament is. You don't know how he feels about his dad. You might be right, but you might be wrong. And if you're wrong, then you come across like an arsehole because no matter what we might think of Alyssa McCante or what we might think of Kotaku or the people pushing DEI, if the man's father passed away and you're making these remarks, you're gonna come across like an arsehole. I wouldn't mock Alyssa McCante, for example, if a loved one passed away and she posted about it online. I might not like some of the things she says, but she is still a human being at the end of the day. And same goes for Grums. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Grums where there was a situation, I believe, in China where members of his family might have gotten hurt because of an earthquake, if I'm remembering correctly. And there were people online saying heinous shit because they don't like Grumps, making assumptions. Oh, I saw people saying he's trying to get sympathy points because he's hot. He's in hot water right now because Grums is always arguing with people on Twitter, trying to get sympathy points using his parents. People making remarks like they don't care that his parents had been hurt and that he deserves it. It's all fucking nonsense. We're talking about video games here. Like, I thought I was interacting with adults, referencing adults. This is playground bullshit.
I don't want to. How's his black dad though? Is he okay?
Listen. I can't. Do you know what? Yeah, grown men that do this, I really can't stand it because I know for a fact this dude, Sammy dude, sitting there, would not do that to his face. He would not do that to that man's face. His black dead dad. Who is your content for exactly? Again, I thought we were talking about a video game set. I'm starting to get a different vibe.
6 feet under.
He is the kind of he is the kind of person that is going to push this to his advantage, which I totally get that. I understand. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, it's all a performance, not just from him, but from the people who received it as well. And this is the problem when you're in an echo chamber like that and you're circle jerking each other. As much as they want to project and say we're in the echo chamber.
Really, like these guys ain't making dumb responses and you're not checking them. Isn't this your YouTube channel? This looks like a circle jerk to me. Nobody's had the balls to be like, hey, shut up. There's like one instance where they made a light jab at this fucking troll sitting over here. And that's it. So you want to talk about circle jerk? This is a circle jerk. Nobody's saying anything to challenge any of the panelists because you all bat for the same side. It shouldn't be that. You should be able to have a conversation. If someone says something on your YouTube channel, you'd be like, hey, we're not doing that here. We're having a conversation about games. Don't talk about his dead dad.
Massively,
and people should know that he started a company with the two founders of SBI called Bebe Sucre, right? And that was prior to making this game. So
that's
he is
French for sweet baby.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
sugar.
Okay. So he's trying to backpedal so hard from SBI. SBI was brought in as consultants. He's saying, "Oh, that was only at the very end, and we didn't know anything about this." But he's
if you work with SBI, it's a death sentence for your games. It is what it is. If there's ever any game journalists or any games developers that see this and you watch this whole video, I'm just letting you know, Sweet Baby Inc. is a death sentence for your game. It is. Sweet Baby Inc. would have to be tied to something like Spider-Man, which is such a juggernaut of a franchise that it would be very hard for even them to cause damage to it. But you got games like this, small games, and people realize, especially because on Steam, there's Sweet Baby Inc. detected. And people go there to check. Now, I believe not all of the games on there have actually been worked on by Sweet Baby, but they have like narrative consultant agencies. And like I said, not all narrative consultant agencies are created equal. They do differ. Now, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot. So there's a lot of bad ones. Don't get me wrong. But it's worth checking each one out before you make a decision on the game. But if people find there are ties to your game, they're not going to buy it. I certainly am not going to. I feel like Sweet Baby Inc., Kimberly and people affiliated with her have done too much damage and have tried to do too much damage and said very negative things about gamers that are just not true. Now, it's funny that I say that, having just done this reaction video to this, but the majority of people don't come out of dumb shit like this reality-based person or this Sammy guy. Most people just want good games, and they don't want to be force-fed a message.
But anyway, so the major point Hypno wanted to bring up here, our team has created a prototype for a bold new project. It's darker, edgier, and more visceral than our first game.
Oh, I'm sure it's darker.
But it retains all Zhao's high-octane combat and cultural depth. And we're looking for a partner, so please give us your money.
Just a bunch of fucking idiots. Smash, dude, like I said, I like you, but if you're going to sit on a panel with people like this and you're trying to push a message that we're not racist and this, that, and the other, when people are making jokes like this constantly, you know how it's going to be perceived. And I already know I'm going to get some fucking imbecile in my comments. Like, it's a joke, it's a joke. There's a very heavy conversation around all of this stuff, and a lot of it surrounds race and gender. And when people are making videos saying, we're not racist, but, which is how a lot of these things start out, and then you're on a podcast with people that are behaving like this, it's kind of hard for these people to see you for anything but. Now, I don't know if this is done purposefully to drum up more conversations so more videos can be made and more ad revenue can be consumed, or if everybody is just, if you're just blind to it or something. I'm very confused here.
You're talking about like darkness, even skin color aside, trying to flog a game based on your dad's death is pretty dark.
I don't know whether to be offended or be thankful he actually watches my content.
Tales of
joke.
Oh,
bastard.
Tales of Kanzera Zhao Darker. That'll be the sequel.
Yep.
You just had to fuck it up, right? We were on a high, and you just had to fuck it up.
Oh, just get on with the super chat. Stop punching that.
That's all I can take from this. That fucking, what's this guy's name again? Ryan. This troll. This sewer dweller. This grum guzzler. This ogre looking motherfucker. I don't know why you guys had him on there. Someone should have told him. Someone should have said something. Now, like I said, there's loads of people in this space that I disagree with on both sides. Obviously, you just saw my reaction to that video. Most of it was me being very negative towards them because I feel like they deserve it. There's also people on the other side of the conversation that I completely disagree with. Case in point, Khalif Adams, positivity peddler, said on Twitter, I don't know how you watch Smash JT content and not feel infinitely dumber afterwards. Truly some of the most mindless simpleton stuff on the internet. I do find that rich coming from him, considering when I watch his streams, I feel like I am losing brain cells. So I find that quite funny. You've also got NNE Saga here saying, as an industry, we need to find a way to completely remove these racist mobs and groups out. They do nothing but cause harm and drive away actual change makers. You speak up, you're racially attacked. You mind your own business, you're racially attacked. All this because they do not want diverse voices in gaming. This is pathetic. Platforms like YouTube, X, Twitch don't do nothing about it either. Miserable losers who have done nothing in gaming and think they are qualified to give their opinions. It's okay to not like a game but actually have a valid reason for it. Saying you don't like the game because of DEI is racist. Now because of your wayward thoughts you are disrespecting the game devs a late father. Everything alright in their heads. Now I don't completely agree with that. From what I got from that video, Grums made completely fair points. He didn't say anything disparaging about the guy. Well, it's kind of hard to tell who's talking between Hypnotic and Grums, but from what I could see, Grums was saying, I'm not faulting the man for trying to make a game. X, Y, and Z. He made his points. I didn't really have any issue with them. It was more the rest of them that had an issue with their talking points. Now, saying that DEI is a bad thing or saying that you don't like DEI does not make you racist. I don't like this push for DEI. I think that it's better when you tell stories authentically. You don't need to force something down someone's throat. So I don't agree with NNE Saga there. Now, Grums did follow this up with a tweet saying, as I said on stream, I respect anyone who creates. It's a huge effort. He did say that. But you have to build to market. If you don't, you can't be blaming chuds or racists for not making a product people don't want. Your game was well done and beautiful. It just didn't resonate. Iterate and ship again. That's a fair point. Smash JT comes in and says he doesn't care about the conversation, he wants his narrative. Abu Bakr replies saying, that's not true. My conversations on here have always been about being open and honest. By painting that picture, invites animosity when conversation needs to be had. Now, Abu Bakr said on his Twitter that he is happy to have a conversation with people. He's happy to have a conversation with people.
Believe it, Abu Bakr. I know that this might come across as a little bit harsh, and I know you always talk about wanting a conversation and a dialogue, but the point is, there is no need for a conversation with you because it's one-sided. You don't change. You have this perception of manipulating people, and you do not self-reflect on your choices. So until you do that, you look in a mirror, you understand what you've done wrong, and you come forward and apologize, take accountability for your actions and say, I'm going to be better, and let's have a conversation about how to move this forward. Nothing is going to change.
Now, what I don't understand about that is that if Abu Bakr is extending his hand and saying, let's have a one-on-one conversation, I don't understand why you won't do it, Smash. Again, this is somebody that enjoys your content. Me and you have been cordial towards each other. I don't understand. This is a perfect opportunity to take your points and absolutely dismantle Abu Bakr, unless you don't believe in what you're saying. That is the only reason why you wouldn't do it. I can't think of any other reason. If I had the opportunity to speak to Alyssa Makante or Black Girl Gamers or any of these people that I disagree with, I would take it because I believe that whatever they put forward to me, I can pick it apart and get my points across to the people watching. I even think that I could probably convince other people that disagree with me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have that belief. I don't understand why Abu Bakr is saying, let's have a conversation, and you saying, conversation doesn't need to be had, just reflect and come back and apologize. Well, don't you think it would be easier to sit down, even do it live, so it's not edited, do it live for everyone to see, have a conversation about why people believe certain things about the games industry, put your points forward and see if you can push back on them. I think everybody would appreciate that and like to see it. I'm very confused, and the only reason that I could think that people don't want to actually sit and have a conversation is because they want the ad revenue. This war between gamers is quite profitable for both sides. Both sides are making a profit from going at each other's necks. For me, it's like, isn't it besides the point? Ain't we trying to get games to a place where everybody can enjoy them and we can be done with this bullshit? So I find that a little bit weird, Smash. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'll keep it 100 of you. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little bit weird to me. The man saying he's willing to talk to you, you can host it. Say to him, alright, we'll talk. We're gonna do it on live stream. I'll host you on my channel. Announce a date, announce a time. Don't have anybody else jumping in to jump the guy. You versus him on your points. And see if some middle ground can be found. Because maybe if you can sway somebody like Abu Bakr and say to me, you know, we don't like this, that, and the other, maybe your ideas can be passed through him to other people in the industry, and maybe over time there can be a change. But if you're just stuck on it's not going to change, then what's the point in all of this? What is the point? It must be ad revenue at that point. And to close off, you've got a tweet here that says, you all weren't constructively criticizing the game but the man. You were making fun of his clothes, claiming that he didn't know his father or his heritage. It was the opposite of a constructive conversation and was filled with nothing but pointed racial bigotry. You should honestly be ashamed of yourself. Now, I don't know why she put Grums in that, because from what I could see, Grums was not partaking in that. Although Grums did not say anything, Grums is a very well-known social media personality. He would have the sway to tell those guys, check your bullshit at the door, let's keep it to the game, let's analyze the situation properly. But no one did. No one checked anyone, not until the end when that fat oaf Ryan kept on opening his mouth, and even they had enough of his bullshit. So to me, it was all lacking in integrity. It was playground nonsense, and this is why people are so against you guys. Like, people like you, even people like me. When I say I'm against DEI, immediately I can understand. They'll hear that and be like, I've heard that somewhere before, and I believe it's wrong to do that. I think you should treat people on a case-by-case basis, which is why I will sometimes go against people that have the same ideas as me, because I don't like what they're saying. You can't just bat for one team because they're saying things that sound like they make sense to you. This was some real childish bullshit. Real childish bullshit. I think that stream, I'm surprised it's still up, if I'm being completely honest with you, but then it makes me wonder, are there more like this and this is just the only one that we've caught onto? If you wonder why it's so hard to get through to people, it's because you have no social skills whatsoever. And I'm talking to majority of the people on that panel. You might have a subscriber base. I don't know how many subscribers everybody's got on there individually, but just pandering to one side of the conversation is not going to change anything. It's not. Now, it's true that majority of gamers don't buy these games, But the idea should be that we want the actual media to change. We want them to give us stuff that we want to look forward to. You know, back in the day when we used to get good TV programs, I completely agree with the point where we used to have a lot of diversity on TV. There was a lot of fully run black shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and everyone loved them, and you didn't hear this conversation. Those are all fair points to make, but the playground insults, you guys fucked up. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below. There's a lot of things that I could say about Abu Bakr and his talking points, but that's not what this video was about today. I've made loads of videos attacking the proponents of DEI. This time, I think it was fair to look at the people that are also vomiting or have diarrhea coming out of their mouths when they're talking about these situations. So you guys let me know what you think about it.